my friends. Something would have to go wrong. We can't get this to work first time. That would be too much to ask for. That would be too much to ask for. Just randomly plug out the microphone and plug it in a different USB slot, and here we are. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the load button before I say anything else, because the noise that is coming out of my PC at the moment is absolutely cruel. Okay, it's calming down. It's calming down. Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated. And you join me as I return again to the great Houses of Calderia. We have 472 days left. So this is the game that I was playing and that I uploaded yesterday. We have just suffered a devastating defeat to these guys. Verona, our overlords. They're demanding a ton of money off of us, the devils. And the game hasn't crashed yet. The game hasn't crashed yet. I have all of the video settings at... Where are we? Settings. Video settings. I have everything at medium. It goes up. I have no idea whether this is actually doing anything, whether it's helping us to animals, whether it's helping us to prevent this thing from crashing or not. I have no idea. This might be over in a couple of minutes. Who knows? Let's see what we can do. We suffered a hefty defeat to these guys. We're actually in a position where we can start building another building. And I was thinking about this last night. Was it a good idea to go and get that vineyard set up? It is going to alleviate the requirements here for these guys, for grapes. If we were to put somebody else in here, we're going into a grain deficit, but we're also going into a bit of a grape deficit. I think this is pretty much as far as we're going to go. I don't think we're going to... I think we're going to try and trade grain for... trade crops and trade grapes for wine if we ever want to upgrade our burgers. Because that's what the next level of compensation would be, and we don't exactly have a lot of wine. What's the point in us? We are supposed to be specialists in metal ore production. What is the point in us having vineyards? At the most, it just alleviates the demand that these guys have. This is the kind of the complexity that I keep talking about that you have to put into about this game. What was I going to check? I was going to check something. When is our next pop coming? So we have 10 per day. That's going to be like 140 days? No. 150, 160 days. Is there anybody else that we can make happy? Is there anybody else here that we can make happy? So the farmers aren't exactly delighted. We're not getting any hides in at the moment. Here is the vineyard. We could do that. Push the vineyard up to max production. We don't really need it, but it's gonna push up the happiness. That brings us up to about 12, I think, 13. And if we look at our builders, they are being compensated in money. We do have a good chunk of money. We don't need to worry too much about that. We're probably going to need... Well, we have trade here as well, don't we? 271 remaining. So that's working out at 3.1 per day. So we're going to be back into a surplus, will we? If I just move you out? No, we won't. We'll still be in a negative, a hefty negative deficit, even when we do this. This is what I want to do. I want to build these drift mines, but we need to put somebody in there. We need to put somebody in there, and as yet, we don't have somebody to put in there. Oh, lads. We definitely don't have a choice. We need to start importing hides. And that might allow us to, Never mind. Never mind. We'll let it play on for a couple of minutes and we'll see what we can and can't do. I am tremendously enjoying this. Do we have anybody? No, nobody's making a surplus. Nobody around us is making a surplus. These guys are. They're a bit away from us, though. Here is what is, in effect, the capital, the viceroy. So the viceroy set a period of reconciliation following the end of our war against Tommaso. So this is, if we actually take a look at these guys, we can't view them because we have an event. Amintor Monte pays an official visit to Paula Barsum's fiefdom and wants to see the surrounding city. He is especially keen on seeing different sites of production. So we can see that they have a high intrigue level to see how our economies could better integrate. Look at his economy value. This man doesn't know nothing about no economy. Go away, you. Will we accompany him personally? Suggest showing the accounts. Ask a few questions. We will accompany him personally. After a long day of observing a minotaur, Paula's suspicions are gone. She is convinced by her guest's intentions that the visit will be advantageous to both families. So if we take a look here at the capital, they have a fortress. They don't have a burg, they have a fortress. They have farmers, a vineyard, they have builders, herdsmen, miners, winemakers, smiths. They have freeholders, crafters, and scholars. All these things that they have. This is basically the capital that's churning out a ton of stuff. We could try and send somebody here to get good relations with them. Let's do... And what's the other thing we want to see? The problem is they're probably not going to be low on anything. They're low on grapes. Okay, we could try to trade them some grapes for meat and hides. Oh. We're going to need to trade them a lot of grapes for meat and hides, so maybe not. So meat and hides are one of the more valuable resources, it would look like. Where are the people? These guys are just bad at everything. So here's hide production. These guys are making hides. They're making hides and they're making a big deficit on grain. That's what I like to see. So what do we want to do here? We need to offer... Why is the willingness so low? They have more than enough crops, you know. Oh god, they have. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. Okay. We will again just let things run out for a while. We have a good relationship with these guys because we arranged a marriage. I think we have a good relationship with these guys because we did some trading. Pop growth is shoving up. We have another diplomatic. We have 2 diplomatic missions arriving. Is this our squire? It looks like it. He's been sent back to us. Here's Nomi. Some lesser nobles have invited Nomi to spend a late evening by wine and card games. After a few glasses of wine, her company unanimously suggests adding some stakes to make the game more interesting. Is Nomi up for it? She's an idiot, of course she's up for it. Agree? Try to call them out for cheating. Try to cheat your way to victory. Try to win the game fairly. I think they're so stupid that they would think that they could do this. Decides to show what she's made of despite a few doubtful moves made by her company. They weren't a match for a solid skill. She leaves without losing anything. Well, there you go. We have another diplomatic mission, I believe. It is an official visit. So that's what we have a lot of in the demo at the moment, is official visits. It's an official visit to Zinan, to be sure, his intentions are sincere. Zinan accompanies him personally. Suggest showing the accounts instead. So this is high intrigue and high economy. This is actually from the capital. They've sent a 16-year-old from the capital. We will suggest showing the accounts instead. Accio answers Zinan's question, but stumbles in places and is overly polite in his output. Questions seem to bother Accio, and Zinan doesn't fully trust his good intentions to comply with the request. Okay. And we also have trade routes by sea, which is fantastic. So we're powering through our pop growth, because of course we have increased happiness as one of the options that we took. We have a trade, I don't think it's a trade delegation, but I'm hoping it's somebody dropping off supplies of some make, shape, or form. The guys in the Borg want wine, which we're not in a position to supply. So this is maybe one of the tougher starts that we've kind of picked, because we started with a very small population. 6 would be one of the kind of the smaller populations. So an idea for if somebody else is doing a demo or playing through the demo, maybe start with a slightly larger population, so that even with the pop growth or the pop happiness benefit that we selected, that you're getting, you still have a large pop to start with. If we started with 7 and we were now in a position to hit 9, instead of starting with 6 and being in a position to hit 8, we'd have a bit more stuff done, We're coming towards the end of the first year. We have another overseer event. Paula, overseer of the vineyards, is frustrated by the inefficient ways of the workers. They waste so much of their time on matters completely irrelevant to their labor. She decides to take matters on. She is cautious. I would say she would do nothing. Has no interest in meddling in their ways and continues to be even lazier than before, so production speed is going to drop for 30 days. We don't need to worry, again, like I said, too much about the vineyards. I think it's going to be quite a while before we're in a position to actually try and increase that fortress, by which I mean we're not going to be increasing that fortress. This is what we are waiting for. The one and only thing is that I haven't actually seen what iron or steel is demanded for. I imagine it's needed for training military units, so mightn't be the most useful to us, but I do want to see what it actually looks like. Seems though that's the kind of the specialization that we went for. We have another faction coming to visit us. So we have a population event. Population has increased to 8. We will view. So they get dropped in as a farmer. Here is our miners. Here is the drift mines. We will build and we will move one of these guys down to the mines. And we have a number of people then who are not doing anything. Here is Paula. Of course, nothing's going to actually happen. It's going to be 69 days to build the mines. 69 days to build the mines. I think we can do this for now. Try and get it done some way quickly. 69 is a good number of days. It's a good number of days. Natural disasters. This is a new one. Frido Barsum and Fosca Zimeno. Fosco comes to an official visit in Frido's fiefdom. The two families have a conversation about changes in nature recently. Frido listens to Fosca's worries about drier seasons or how they have affected their food production and feeding their livestock. Fosco asks for advice how to solve this, and could Frido help in any way in this bad situation. Offer to share knowledge of effective farming, suggest getting help from wise agriculturalists, sell tools and livestock feed, reject helping. He's calm, he's fortuned, and he's melancholic. Sell tools. We do have a chunk of tools. I want to hang on to those though, because it puts us in a position to actually build another building straight away. Offer to share knowledge of effective farming or suggest getting help from wise. We'll offer help. So he has gained a trait. He has gained a trait. This is fantastic. This is something I was wondering. It's what I enjoy the most about CK3 is watching your characters change as they pick up and lose stats over time, or as they lose traits. That's one of my favorite aspects of it, and as certain traits kind of get upgraded and downgraded. So Frido gains benevolent, and family relations have increased by 10. What does benevolent do? It doesn't tell us here in the actual menu, but we can see that it will give him the benefit of a doubt ability in social conflicts. Still don't actually know how to use those. -1 military, +2 diplomacy, and -1 intrigue. So we will finish. We have another life event from Xenon. Xenon is gazing over the fiefdom and gets an empty feeling. What does chat say? Fiefdom or fiefdom? Oh god, he's at this again. Right, we went with priestess the last time. Let's go with philosopher. After a few hours of pondering the actions of human beings, everything seems easier to understand for Xenon. Rationality is what guides him through the tides of life. He has gained the trait poised. What actually impacted that? Why did the philosopher work but the priestess didn't the last time? What of his stats or what of his traits up here? What actually determined that? Not too sure. Now, okay. We still have Nemez, who has returned to the court. I don't think I can send them out. Could we? We could send him as a squire to the capital. You see the people in military uniform, so you immediately think they're going to be the best military people. There's a Kako, who showed up to us a while ago, is wounded. Cam, genius, daring, go on. Because this could be, again, a future head of the family. So that's rather interesting, that it gives you this opportunity to actually build relations between, potentially, between the heads of families. What is Marzio doing here? He's in Mangunda as part of an official delegation. We could evict him, which is rather interesting. Is he just hanging around? Having a good time? I hope he's having a good time. I hope he's having fun. So crops are the only thing that we could kind of deal with. Here is Namaz. He's snuck out from the castle to town when he hears faint cries of help from a street nearby. A man has been lying on the ground, beaten to a pulp. What should an 11-year-old child do? Try to find someone who could help the man. Approach the man to find out who did this. Keep watching from a distance and see what happens. Run back to avoid getting caught sneaking out. Approach the man to see who did this. Namaz rushes to the man to question what happened to him. The man utters a vague sentence about being mugged and draws his last breath. Namaz returns home and reflects whether he should have tried to do something else to help the man. So he has become gentle and impatient. Now, we go to here. Here's our miners. We move you back to the vineyard. And we are now producing 0.6 stones, metal ore, per day. And we have more people here that we can kind of mess around with. Unfortunately, they demand hides and that stuff that I've forgotten the name of. Wine to keep themselves happy. Straight off the bat, we can build a flat rod system. We could increase the housing. What's the actual requirements? Steel. Now, to get steel, flat rod system, to get steel. It doesn't tell us. What does this need? It needs this, and this needs 1,000 hammers. That needs lots and lots of steel, and the keep needs this stuff. So this needs metal ore. Okay. We will come back to our mine. We will build. Will we build this flat rod system straight away? It's going to take 76 days with the one worker that we have. I think if we actually move this person back down, it's going to take 38 days, and we still won't run out of grapevines or grapes. In what way is our pop growth looking at the moment? 11. Hilia Gikoni has arrived. Talks enthusiastically about increasing cooperation between the families and how that would benefit us both. Discuss ways to improve the relations. Invite her on a hunting trip. We'll discuss ways to improve the relations. So that is a plus 10 for each of us. So we've gone from minus 10 to 0. We are making a good chunk of money. So if we go back to resources and hides. So here is these guys down here. If we get them to sell us hides, and if we sell them money. So we're talking about 40 per hide, 40 gold per hide, which is a bit how much? Oh, Zenon actually is in a good position to negotiate a good deal. Zenon is in a position to negotiate, well, I won't say a good deal, but a much better deal. So what will we go for? We'll go for 60. That's interesting. Well, is it? I don't know. This guy, or this person, cunning to satisfied. So they're cunning, Zenon is satisfied, and that gives them an overwhelming like for Zenon. To such a degree that we can actually undercut them. We can pay them 160 gold for 194 worth of hides. We'll send that delegation. So, because they're producing so much hide, and indeed because we actually have such a good relationship with these guys, it might be worth, in a longer game, trying to build up positive relations with these guys. So what I'm going to do is diplomacy. We'll pay an official visit, and yeah, we'll send Mako. They don't have much in common, but we'll try and improve matters. There is Mako. Also, there's Mako Noveo. There's our son-in-law. So he's at our court, and he's after peering out of the bushes that he lives in, and he's going to go off and represent the family. Marzio, Pico, and Naomi Barsom are not the best of friends, and now they are quarreling again. Both complain about each other. This guy's been at the court for a while, just creeping around. How should Frito deal with the situation? Let's try and win Marzio's trust. So Marzio's respect towards Frito goes up by 10. So you have family relations and then personal relations. So we're going into a bit of a deficit with crops due to... Well, that's really interesting. Our family member went down here to Noveo and then sailed across. There is Zenan, and Ator's negotiations are interrupted when Farino's workers and Zenan's servants break into fighting. They seem to fight over the fairness of the deal being made. Oh no. Oh no, no. Oh. Offer setting the dispute by lorning demands. Scold your servants harshly. Demand that settle immediately. Suggest that you continue to negotiate in private. He's cunning. We're arrogant and satisfied. We'll offer by lorning the demands. After settling your people, you both agree that the incident was a sign of a bad trade and the final deal should be more reasonable to Ferino. So family relations have increased by 10. We get 6 less hides. Big deal. Fantastic. Good deal all around. Well done, servants, for fighting. So there we go. He's off and he swings away out. And then he comes back around. You can see a trade route, from what I can understand. I was not watching. So where are we? Put you back there on the vineyard. Not too sure now why we're losing so much. Oh, is this because of our taxes? Is this because of our taxes? Oh no, because we're trading money. That's, yeah, I forgot about that. So Mako, representing House Barsom, has shown up at the territory of Fiorino. He arranges a formal meeting, inquiring Mako to name a topic they'd be willing to discuss during the meeting. Oh no. Oh. I'd say court gossip. Ator is certainly into talking about social patterns and recent happenings, so I was wondering if that might be because of his high intrigue. He's also cunning. Still, he keeps the discussion from wandering into too friendly waters, so an increase of 15 between the two houses. Fantastic, fantastic. Our nephew is coming back home for some strange reason. Dahlia has noticed a courtier smiling at her often. He is very handsome, and Dahlia is flattered by his attention. Now the courtier asks Dahlia to join him for a glass of wine in his chamber. Maybe it's not just the wine he has in mind. One glass can't do any harm. She's vigorous, and she's an idiot. The wine tastes sweet, and the courtier sits down very close to Dahlia. She fights the urge to touch him, but just thanks him for the wine politely and leaves the room. So she got the wine. Her diplomacy increases by 1. And she hasn't brought shame to the family. So our money problems seem to be back under control. We have a small bit of problem. I won't say we have a small bit of problem with crops, but they're not going as good maybe as they could be. I'm trying to see if the mic is picking up the noise. I don't think it is, but the noise out of the PC. So there's a couple of performance issues that need to be dealt with as the game gets closer to completion. Let's check this natural disaster. So Mako and Marzio. So Marzio has been hanging around being a weirdo. Cautious, vengeful misfortune. And I would say we'll suggest getting help from the agriculturalist this time. So Mako introduces one of his agricultural specialists to Marzio. They start to go through the problems, and it takes hours before they are ready to finish. Marzio is relieved for the help and wants to compensate this to Mako. So Mako gains satisfied. Relations with Pico towards Novo, not towards us. That does make sense. But so relations with Novoa instead of Pico improves. I wonder where the gold actually goes. Does that... I don't know if that comes to us or if it just shows up in Noveo's house. Now you see he's getting all the stuff. Isaea Bernabe pays an official visit to Mako Novea. He doesn't have a fiefdom. This isn't his. Stop it. Wants to see the surrounding city. Accompany him personally. So family relations between Bernabe and Novoa increase, not between Bernabe and Barsum. Interesting. But you don't really have an option, you don't really have a choice in that matter. Let's see if we can actually take this guy out of the equation. I don't think we can. I don't think this will work. We'll try it. So Smith's has actually opened up now. Okay, Smith's. So this is where we can make... This is where we can make steel. So it's going to cost 200 materials and 50 ore. We're getting the ore. It's going to be a while before we get those materials. So these guys to the south of us would be perfect to trade with if we actually had the grapes to trade with them, but we don't. We, of course, could try and trade grapes with somebody else and then try and trade them to them. We have some luxuries. Not too sure where these came from. So So somebody comes talking to Artiz about natural disasters. Let's suggest this one again. So now we get the 50 gold. Haha. And Travisano's relations towards Barsum increase by 10. So, wait, no, we did this already. They are not short on grapes. Or they're not short on crops, I mean. Oh, that's not what I wanted. They have a lot of material. They have no metal ore. How much is metal ore? Whoa. Okay, if we can get some good trade partners here, somebody that they don't hate, we could get this up into a positive. If we have such a... Okay, so Zenon seems to get on very well with a lot of people. Zenon is not the worst. They're not the best, they're not the worst. If we offer 30 ore, and what we could do just to sweeten the deal... Do you know what? There you go. I can't just increase it by 1. I can, but I forget how. Let's try shift. No, let's try a couple of different things. I'm wondering at what stage I'll actually end up... There you go. So there you go. And I can hardly like put this up. Okay, we might be able to... There you go. Okay. The strangest deal ever. And you know what? We'll do that across... That's going to be 115 days. We'll do it across 76 days. We'll do it across 2 trips. Which probably means I'm not going to get this done now, but... Whatever. So metal, even just ore itself, appears to be very valuable. One of the most valuable base resources. So yeah, we should probably have started working on this much earlier. He's going to a different... Is it this place he's going to? I thought I actually sent him across here. So Artiz is paying a visit in some directions. Let's discuss ways to improve. Oh no, Tico has visited us. Let's invite him on a hunting trip. Even though the interests of the families sometimes contradict, they learn to understand each other's viewpoints better. So +5 from each. Unruly servants again. What? We are offering them more. Seem to be fighting over the fairness of the deal being made. I'm going to suggest that we continue to negotiate in private. After settling your people, you both agreed that the incident was a sign of a bad trade and the final deal should be more reasonable. For Monserrano, how many did they drop? Did they drop 1, I think? That's a pretty hefty deal. Negative to us. Frido is visited by Bajo Noveo. He's coming to see how his son, brother, somebody is doing. We'll show him the accounts. So I'm not too sure about this one. Suggest to show him the financial accounts instead. Bajo Noveo, are we asking to see his accounts? Questions seem to bother Bajo, and Frido doesn't fully trust his good intentions to comply with the request. So I'm not too sure. This might be kind of placed in the wrong place at the moment. Not too sure. So, while overseeing the burghers, Artiz Barsum makes a worrying observation. Many of the workers bring assistants, like siblings or children, into the castle to help them count money without any notification. A saboteur or spy could walk in unnoticed any day. He is determined to make a change in the matter. Increased supervision. Safety has increased. Austerity has changed by 10%. Now any suspicious characters can be rooted out immediately. Workers are disappointed with the change for the time lost by these expulsions. So I'm not too sure is... So here's austerity. It's gone up. So that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. And safety has also gone up. So we're now up to level 2 on safety. So we've lost our thing anyway. Our luxury. What's going on with grapes? Is it one of the changes here that's done something? If we look at our vineyard, this will increase grape production. So we might have to do this. This is another new one that I haven't seen before. Ambiguous rules. Zinan meets Savine Baldassare in a tavern at... And they end up having a quarrel about the rule of the game of pearls after a round. How would he save his honor and avoid making the situation any worse between the two families? Should he leave the situation? Or should he use sleight of hand? Or maybe Zinan should try to convince Savine that she was playing with old rules. He is vigorous. Oh yeah, sleight of hand. I mean, look at this intrigue level. Absolutely. This is just a silly game, nothing to be cross about. We are done here. Quickly organize the pearls. Invent an incredible interpretation of the rules. I'm going to quickly organize them. Zinan quickly switches the pearls in his favor, while Savine orders a drink from the barmaid. When Savine looks back at the table, she doesn't even notice that something has changed, and continues having fun in the game without realizing the cheat. So, respect increases between the two families. So even at the moment, it's just literally a population management, because that's all we have, is pop management and building a couple of buildings. And it is actually a tremendous amount of fun. Here's Tarso Monscato. Pays a visit to Mako's fiefdom. No, he doesn't. We'll ask a few questions. Mako's suspicions are gone. He's convinced by his guest's intentions. And it's 20 between House Mako and Monscato. Not, or House Tarso and Nevoa. We have a pop increase. So they're in crops crops at the moment, is it? Or have they gone somewhere else? Our problem seems to be, what we'll have to do is we'll actually have to cut pop growth by a small bit by increasing their effort to brisk. So they were normal, and now it's going to have to go up to brisk. We have our farmers here, and we've nobody kind of doing anything with them because their leader has wandered away off. If we move you to the Borg, oh yeah, that'll give us a deficit in grapes. So we'll leave you there for a minute. If we were to move you to the vineyard, it's going to give us an interesting scenario. And of course, if we move you to the miners, it's also going to give us another interesting scenario. So that's probably what we would do is try and push ore production through the roof. If we take a look at our smith, it needs ore. Needs ore. And I imagine some of the larger buildings are going to need ore as well. So that's pretty much what we do. I'm going to do that now as well, just to max out our ore production. I'd be hoping that when Xenon comes back, that he would have most of the materials that we would need. I think we're getting 99 materials at some stage. I know it's over 2 days. Or I should say 2 trade trips, but I would hope that he would be bringing back the materials that we would need to start on that smithy. I don't think we're going to get it built by the end of the game. So 13 more days and we will have the hammers that we need. We've suddenly just gone from 1 per day to 1.7. That's probably as a result of that trade. Yeah, so there's another 49.5 to arrive, averaging 1.3 per day, from what I can understand. So we've managed to get the population of this area up fairly quickly. I mean, we were 6 and we're now approaching 10. It's going to take a while. So I think the last pop figure was 2,500 and now it's up to 2,750. We've now dropped to... So we've no more trade coming in. I think this is the last trade delivery, and it's entirely possible that we will hit 200 without... There we go. Here's Paula. Again, not too sure what is impacting anything here. We go to the priestess. Sees again the light and shines that shines through the sky and earth, the shadow that it casts behind her, and in the shape of Shadow herself. Everything makes sense again. So Paula went on a big party in the last video that we recorded. Got drunk on something that may have been wine or may have been blood. Who knows? Who cares? So she's happy out. And we can come to our smith, our bloomery. We can build our bloomery. And we will move one of the miners down here. It is just a pity that it doesn't tell you what you need, what these people are going to need. So that's going to take 90 days. If we move, and oh Jesus, you can take them all. If we move another guy down here, that's going to put us into a miner. Miner, because they're mining. Will we be able to get this done before the end of the game? A court member request. We're getting a court member request. Absolutely. We will throw a feast to... We'll just welcome him because it's going to improve relations with House Navoa. Family relations towards Barsum increases. So sometimes it's Navoa and sometimes it's Barsum. I've confused myself. What am I doing? I'm going to view something. 34 days. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So we'll get a bit of steel built. We've done a lot in this demo. We've done a lot in the 2 years. We've almost gotten the population up to 10. I don't think we'll get it done by the end of the game. We built a winery to at least just generate enough grapes for our Borg. We built metal ore, which we've discovered is basically has the potential to power our entire economy, and now we're going for steel. Here is Nomi again. In another game of Dungeons and Dragons. She did great the last time. They're asking her to put down money to wager bets on how well she's going to do in the dungeon. We'll agree and try and call them out for cheating this time, because they were cheating the last time. She keeps losing easily and playing dumb, praying for a target. Finally, one of them tries an obvious cheat she can call them out for. Threatened by a prosecution, they admit. Threatened by prosecution, they admit and pay a large amount of gold for Nomi Barsam's goodwill. Nomi Barsam, single-handedly powering the economy of Mangunda. I'd be interested to see what the intrigue options are going to be like, and I'd be interested to see what the intrigue options are going to be like, and what war is going to be like. That's going to be exciting to see. How war is actually going to play out. We have another official visit from Iron. To honor her intention, well, she wants to see the sites of production. So accompany her personally, give her an expensive present, arrange a surprise for her. His wife just came home with 10 gold, and he doesn't know where she's after going off to, so do you know what, we'll give her a gift. And family relations with Navoa have increased. So that's one to watch, alright, is we've married one of our characters to somebody. They've come to our court. They're now being asked to do stuff. So they're being asked to, like, handle trade delegations, and it's increasing reputation with their family instead of ours. We're now producing 0.8 steel. What I want to see is, let's go to these guys again, trade, and if we say 1 steel, what's 1 steel worth? My god. So 10 steel, I should say, is worth 113. So we could get 120 grain for 1 steel. Or for, well, 120 grain for 10 steel. So 12 grain for 1 steel. So steel. There's a nice chunk of stuff in steel. Here's our smithy. We're not going to put somebody in there. I will move you back to, where did I have you? You up there. That's why we had this this issue mainly. So we now do need to think about trying to either, actually, what do these guys consume? Building materials or money. So I thought the farmers were going to be the only ones that would be compensated with grain, but it actually looks like everybody could be compensated with grain. I somehow mistook that. I'm not too sure how. But what we'd now be looking to do is go back to our builders, possibly again bring down, we could either try and bring down population growth by increasing their briskness, or we could look at buildings. And once we have to get 350 material together to build a sawmill, which is going to increase material production by 50%. And then we have another one after that, which will increase by another 15%. And that would then allow us to increase compensation to our smiths. But I think with 52 days left, I don't know, is there much point in doing much? Let's just pray we can get to that stage, as in the end of the game. Have we a bit of a waterfall up here? I don't think I spotted that. So we have an aqueduct leading across to Monscato. They visited us at one stage. Lads, you made a long journey. I haven't really looked at much of what's going on over here. This end of the map is kind of new and rare to me. It looks absolutely fantastic. And like I said, I am very excited to see what these mathematicians are up to. We have a life event. Namaz. He snuck out again, and he's found another dead man on the road. Approach the man to find out who did this. Keep watching from a distance. Try to find someone who could help the man. Namaz scours the nearby streets and finally finds a baker willing to listen to him. Together they rush to the wounded man, but alas, he has died. So this is the second person that's died on Namaz's watch. He returns home. He's gained melancholic, so he's become impatient from watching one man die. Now he's become melancholic from watching another man die. So lots of men dying, causing him to become melancholic all the time. Myra, how are you doing? How are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I am taking a look at Great Houses of Calderia, finishing off. So I put up a recording of the first part of this game yesterday on YouTube. So I said I'd just live stream this and get it done today. The channel has been quiet for a while. Looking to get back into CK3. I meant to do it this week, but things kind of got out of hand, so I just said, you know what? I'll focus on Great Houses of Calderia. We have 2 weeks left, just 13 days. So I'm hoping in the next day or two to start a new CK3 series. A trade delegation, a bit late, lads, a bit late. We'll, 195 grapes for 5.9 luxuries. Wow. I don't think there's much we can do with those. Offer less than they ask for. The deal is struck begrudgingly. I think you can pretty much force that to happen. So we offer them less. The deal happens anyway. But there's now a loss of... what would you call it? Family relations. Then we have another person coming in. Enoa pays an official visit to Frido and wants to see the surrounding city. She is especially keen on seeing different sites of production to see how our economies could integrate better, she explains. To make sure her intentions are sincere, Frido suggests showing accounts instead. This one kind of confuses me. We'll accompany her personally. After a day of observing, Frido's suspicions aren't reduced. Frido Barsum and Ainoa get into an argument in the middle of a tour about the proper means of economic cooperations. He is saddened by Ainoa's incompetence. So Frido's respect towards Ainoa goes down by -20, and family relations towards Barsum decreases by -15. So that was a bit of a disaster. But they were probably coming to try and keep tabs on us. The devils. And we have gotten through the demo without it crashing. We've gotten through the demo. We've gotten While overseeing Borg, Artis Barsum has observed many harmful habits blooming among the workers. Many days end with unfinished labour, and the wares are handled poorly. He thinks these unnecessary losses could be avoided and something must be done. I won't pay for a day half done, he says. So Borg yield has increased by 5% and austerity has increased by 5% for a couple of days. Okay, well this is weird. so this is weird. Again, this is a demo. A demo of a fantastic game that I'm very excited to see what it looks like at the end when we get the finished product. This day-night cycle is absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely beautiful, and it is a fantastic map. So this game was supposed to last for 2 years. We're now nearly a month beyond what was supposed to be the end date. We could try and set up some trade deals to try and get the hammers that are needed. Like I said, as I keep calling them, the hammers that are needed to get some steel production up and running. While overseeing farmers, Dahlia Barsom tries constantly to tackle new challenges. One comes right to her in the middle of a day with a messenger. Artis Barsom has asked her to exceed the current production of farmers. Dahlia knows immediately a way to achieve this. So these aren't options. There's no options here. We're just getting these. Borrow extra hands. Dahlia gets some workers from an unnamed acquaintance as a return for a favour. With the help, operations of farmers happen in record time, but the quality of the work dips. So production speed has gone up, but yield has gone down for 183 days. We'll get our population to 10, and we'll call it there. 55 days after the demo was supposed to end. So population has increased to 10. Population is increased to 10, so they're put in as a farmer. And I will just show this very quickly. If I take this smith and put them up into farmers, what will happen is that the farmers, the 5 that we had, get condensed down into a single unit, and then we have more. I wonder if we were to fill this out. Let's put everyone in there. Would it go to another 5, or would it go to a 10? Well, of course, we need one more. We need one more person. I wonder, would it go up to 5, or would it go up to... Would it be a second 5, or would the first one go up to a 10? Where are we going to put our new person? We could put them mining. Did not knock down the miners as much as I expected. I'm going to change them to brisk for a minute. I don't think we have any trade bringing in any hammers. Any materials. But yeah, what we would look to do, I think, at this stage is probably... What we should try to do is these 3. Builders, miners, and smiths. They're what we should focus on. So we are very much going to be a kind of a material powerhouse. If we were playing on and continuing on, that is what we would do. So we'd be looking to build some, we'd be looking to get this sawmill up and going. 350 materials. That is not a small quantity at the very least. There you go. There you go. I think that's pretty much as we will deal with. I'm going to send off a bit of a bug report in a moment. Here is Orsa. I'm very excited to see what the hell is going on in Orsa. We have what looks like a bit of an amphitheater. It's kind of this Athens-esque. Got a big lighthouse. We got this kind of elevated area with a pantheon. What the hell is going on there? Big heap of pointy rocks. It is a fantastic looking map. And I think the fact that it's basically a fantasy world created by the devs. I know that this can be done in CK3 as well, but it takes you out of the necessity of maintaining historical accuracy. This is inspired by a historical time period, as opposed to being based on or being an attempt to represent a historical time period. Tremendous work has gone into this map. Tremendous work. Well, there you go. There you go. I think we're going to call it there. I actually got through this a lot faster than I thought, because I think the video I put up yesterday was nine months, and I was expecting that it would take me a lot longer to get through this, but we motored on. Nice and steady. There'll be more videos coming out shortly. I was planning on doing more videos in Great Houses of Calderia, but as Intrigue and Warfare isn't actually included, I will hold off on that until some more additions have been added. I don't know if we'll be seeing any more demos. It's possible that we won't, because the release date is expected to be towards the end of the year. So this was a demo that was just dropped for Gamescom. I thought it was Gamescom. It's not, it's Gamescom. So there you go. But yeah, you can expect some CK3 videos in the next couple of days. Hopefully I'll be able to get the next series started shortly. And of course we have Vicky 3 being released sometime in the next... sometime. I haven't checked if they've actually announced that yet. I know there was a countdown to an announcement of when the release date would be, so I'm going to check that out shortly. And yeah, I'll be probably picking up Vicky 3 at some stage and taking a look at the world as it is represented there. So yeah, there you go. That's that. Thank you for joining me for this look around the Great Houses of Calderia. I have the link to the demo and to the Fire Squid Discord below in the description, so do go and check them out. Mira, and to anybody else who joined in, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again in future. All the best.